हेलो फ्रेंड्स, वेलकम बैक टू क्रिप्टो मनी विंगोज। वेल फ्रेंड्स, आज की जो वीडियो है इसमें हम मॉड्यूल 5 के बारे में बात करने वाले हैं। और ये जो मॉड्यूल हैं ये ड्रीम पोर्ट में जिनकी सिलेक्शंस हुई हैं उनके लिए ट्रेनिंग के तौर पर इन मॉड्यूल्स को कंप्लीट करना एक हर्डल है एक तरह से। तो स्टेप बाय स्टेप मैंने 3 वीडियो ऑलरेडी डाली हैं जिसमें जो असेसमेंट टेस्ट हैं, नॉलेज टेस्ट नंबर 1, 2 और 3, उनको कैसे पास करना है, पासिंग स्कोर क्या रहेगा, वो मैंने ऑलरेडी अपलोड कर रखा है, तो आप वहाँ जाके उनको कंप्लीट कर सकते हैं। फ़िलहाल मैं मॉड्यूल 5 जिसमें कस्टमर हैंडलिंग, लुकिंग अप एंड ऑफरिंग प्राइस कोड्स, उसके बारे में 3 मॉड्यूल्स दे रखे हैं। तो स्टेप बाय स्टेप मैं इन मॉड्यूल्स के बारे में डिस्कस करूँगा। इस वाली वीडियो में स्पेशली प्रो कोड्स बेसिक्स के बारे में जो मॉड्यूल है उसके बारे में डिस्कस कर रहा हूँ मैं इसमें। तो आई होप यू विल लाइक दिस वीडियो। अगर आप लाइक करोगे तो यार हिट सब्सक्राइब बटन ज़रूर कर देना, है ना। तो चलिए शुरू करते हैं। इसमें ये जो 40 मिनट का मॉड्यूल है ये आगे भी मैं हर दिन मैं नए नए जो मॉड्यूल्स है वो अपलोड करता रहूँगा यार। तो इस चैनल को सब्सक्राइब जरूर कर देना ताकि आपको टाइमली इन्फॉर्मेशन मिलती रहे मॉड्यूल्स की। तो आप इस वीडियो को पूरा देख लें और उसके बाद जो क्वेश्चंस हैं, 4 क्वेश्चंस हैं इसमें, उनको क्या आंसर्स होने वाले हैं वो आपको पता चल जाएगा इसके एंड में। तो इस वीडियो को देखने के बाद उन क्वेश्चंस को सॉल्व कर लेना, ये वाला मॉड्यूल फिर आपका ऑलमोस्ट कंप्लीट हो जाएगा। ठीक है।
Searches flight options in GDS automatically in just a matter of seconds and a couple of clicks based on the flight details provided in the travel request. It's fast, convenient, and user-friendly. Take advantage of this amazing application to offer and sell flights, being on the line with the customer. Auto Pro Quote Options. As soon as a new travel request is created or taken, ProQuote automatically will add up to 10 flight options, focusing mainly on the convenience. The options will be added to the request within 30 seconds after it was created. That way, you don't need to keep the customer waiting. In less than a minute, you already have something to offer. However, keep in mind that these options are mainly the convenient ones. There is a big chance that if you go to ProQuote and do the manual search, you will find something better in terms of the price. These price quotes will have the Auto Pro Quote label and the selling price will be set to $0. You will have to click on the selling price and put the correct one yourself. It is the same workflow as if the options are added by experts. How to access ProQuote. If the Auto Pro Quote options do not work for the client, you might want to do a more detailed research. Let's open the ProQuote. To do so, you need to have the request, for which you want to add options, to be opened. After you open the request, you need to be on the price quote page. If you are not, click on the price quote button on the left panel. When you are on the price quote page of a travel request, click on the Pro Quote button that is located in the top right corner. That is how you access the Pro Quote. Now let's go from top to bottom to understand what is going on here. Pro Quote upper bar. The first thing that we see in the are the tabs. They are very similar to the ones you use in your web browser. However, keep in mind that you can have not more than 5 active tabs in ProQuote. You can use them to perform multiple searches at the same time. For example, you can run another search, from or to an alternative city, or apply some filters, while having the original search active as well. On the right side of the upper tab you will see if there are cheaper alternatives available. ProQuote will automatically look if there is something cheaper, either departing from the nearby cities, or arriving to nearby cities. This is how it looks if ProQuote didn't find any cheaper alternative routes. And that's how it will look when cheaper alternative routes are found. It will show you the alternative airport codes, price per adult and the main airline code in the brackets. To get more information, click on the alternative route and a new tab will appear automatically. Right below the tabs you will see the flight details, that are taken from the request automatically. You don't need to enter trip information in ProQuote yourself. Just make sure you enter the correct info in the request. Some fields here are editable and some are not. Let's go over each one by one. Trip type. This is something that you cannot change in the ProQuote. It will take the trip type based on the info in the request. If for any reason you need to have options that differ from the original trip type registered, you will need to adjust the flight details in the request. For example, your customer was looking for a one-way flight originally, but asked you to check prices for a round trip. In that case, go to Flight Details, change them, and run a new search in ProQuote. After that, there is the originating city and the final destination. Both fields are editable, in case you need options from or to an alternative city. If you changed anything here, click the Get Quotes button to refresh the search. The next are the travel dates. These can be changed if you indicated date flexibility in the request trip details. Even if you have not, ProQuote will still check if there's something cheaper on alternative dates, but you will not be able to select and add the option on flexible dates. If ProQuote found better options on flexible dates, the date will be in red color. If not, it will be yellow. If it's not a one-way flight, it will even show you on which way flexibility will help to reduce the price. To get more information about such an option, click on the red date, and you will see the calendar of lower fares. Calendar will show you on which alternative date it is cheaper with green color. Click on the price and a new tab will appear with the flexible dates. Next to the travel dates you will see a class of service. This cannot be changed here. If by any reason you want to check options for a different cabin, you will need to change in the request itself and run a new search in ProQuote. Just like with the trip type we discussed earlier. The next field is the amount and age group of passengers. By default, ProQuote takes info about passengers from the request. If needed, you can change it right here. Just make sure to click the Get Quotes button, just like we discussed change of departure or destination city earlier. The last field in the upper bar is the currency in which prices are shown for the options below. By default it is set to USD, but if needed you can change it to Canadian dollars, British pounds or euros. And again, if you change it, click the Get Quotes button. Quote screen. That is how flight options are displayed in the ProQuote. Let's go over the details we see here. On the left side of each option you will see from which GDS it was added, code of pseudo-city used in that GDS, and the fare type. Below that you can find check-in bag allowance. If the luggage icon is red and there is a 0 in the circle next to it, this option does not include any check-in bags. Keep in mind that if it is an economy class ticket without the check-in luggage, you are looking at the basic economy ticket. It is a little bit cheaper than regular economy options, but if your client considers adding the check-in bag separately, it will cost from $40 to $60 per flight segment. As a result, it is going to cost more than just a regular economy ticket with check-in bag allowance. Lack of check-in bags included is not the only disadvantage of the basic economy ticket. These fares are a lot more restrictive than the regular ones. Such tickets usually cannot be exchanged and refunded at all. On top of that, seat selection before the check-in is not possible for free. Some airlines will not even allow clients to select the seats during the check-in. The airlines will choose seats on the customer's behalf. If the check-in luggage is included, the icon will be gray and the amount of bags allowed will be shown in the circle above. When you see a question mark in the circle, you are looking at a flight with a mixed check-in allowance. It means that in each direction the allowance is different. Point your mouse cursor on the baggage icon to see the amount of bags allowed for each direction. In this example, 2 check-in bags are included on the way from West Palm Beach to Tel Aviv, but on the way back the check-in bags are not included. Along with the luggage allowance, other icons can be shown here as well. The half moon icon indicates that there is an overnight layover. To find out where it is, look at the segments with the layover and their timings. The bed icon means that you are looking at a tour fare. It is mandatory to add the hotel to the price quote and offer it as a package deal to the client. The 2 magnets icon means that you are looking at a broken fare, which means that at least 2 fares were combined into one. Usually, it is being sold as published without other additional requirements. The pinpoint icon means that it is an option with pricing to the wrong destination. It means that the fare used for this option is not the fare of the final destination, but it is one of the transit airports. Right here you can see the options rating. Do not confuse it with the airline star rating. This rating is given by our internal algorithm. It is based mainly on three attributes: price, date flexibility, and layovers. The better the combination of these three, the higher the rating. The highest rating is 10. Below our rating, you can find the main airline logo. Keep in mind that it might not be the only airline that is taking part in the itinerary. It is only the main airline. Other airlines might be involved in the itinerary as an operating carrier or the feeder airlines. Here you can find the itinerary itself. We assume that you know how to read the itineraries in GDS format, so we will just point out a couple of details you need to pay attention to. When you see some of the airport codes in your itinerary are in red, then there is an airport change. In this example, here the outbound flight is taking off from London Gatwick Airport, but the inbound lands to London Heathrow Airport. And here is the transit airport change. There is a stop in New York City. The flight from Dallas, Texas arrives at LaGuardia International Airport, but the next flight departs from JFK. Please always make sure to explain this to your customer. Another thing that you need to pay attention to is the eye icon on the right side of the itinerary. Like here. This icon indicates that there is a service, or how we call it, a hidden stop. This icon is located on the specific segment of the itinerary. In this example, there are two hidden stops. One is on segment number 2, between JFK and Addis Ababa. And the second one is on segment number 5, between Addis Ababa and Washington Dulles International. If you point your mouse cursor on the icon, you will see where the hidden stop is. This is called a hidden stop, as there is no change of planes and the flight numbers remain the same throughout the journey. Quite often, passengers do not even have to leave the plane during this kind of stop. In the top right corner of the itinerary section, you can find an info bubble. If you point your mouse cursor here, you will see the total trip duration per each direction. If it is a connecting flight, the total travel time includes the layovers. By default, the itineraries are displayed in GDS language. By clicking this toggle, you can switch between the GDS and more user-friendly formats. Here you can find the departure and arrival details. And here you can find info about the stops. If the transit airport code is red, it means that the layover is either too short or too long. Point your mouse cursor to the airport code to find out more details about the layover. This is how the airport change will look like. In this example, the first stop is in New York. The flight from Orlando arrives at Newark, but the next flight to Addis Ababa departs from JFK. If there is a hidden stop, you will see an eye icon as well. However, one of the downsides of this user-friendly display is that it won't show you on which itinerary segment the hidden stop is. It basically just states the fact that there is one. One more thing to keep in mind is the airline. In user-friendly format it shows only the main carrier. And it won't show you if there are any operating or feeder airlines. Like here. It shows American Airlines and Emirates only. But if we switch back, we actually can see that some American flights are operated by British and Qatar Airways. As well as, Emirates flight has JetBlue as a feeder airline on the first segment. We highly recommend to use the GDS format, or at least combine these two formats. The next panel on the right side shows you the pricing information. This is the total net price. And if you point your mouse cursor over here, you will see this fare calculation. Above the net price you can see if there is another fare type available. By default, ProQuote selects the cheapest fare type. In this example, it is a private fare. But there is also a published one. Point your mouse cursor over here to see its price. By clicking on it, you will select it. Amount of bags included is also specified right here. And this is another example. It is a published fare. And there is nothing to select above the net price. That means only one fare type is available for this flight. And in that case, it is a published one. Below the net price, you can find a box where you must put your selling price. Please pay attention to a number that is already written in the box. This is the minimum selling price. Meaning, you cannot offer it cheaper than that amount. If that number in the box is higher than the net price, this fare has minimum markup requirements. Below you can find very short info about possible changes and refunds. Please pay attention to this message as well. It will show you if less than 7 seats are left on that flight for that price. And the last thing here are the alternative options. It shows how many flights are available as another possibility. And if you click on it, it will show you options with the same airline or its partners, different timings, stops and layovers. Prices also might be different. By default, itineraries are displayed in low to high order arranged by the net price. Here you can arrange your options in a different way. You can do it by net price per adult, by total net price, by minimum selling price per adult, by minimum total selling price, by flight time, by amount of stops, by rating. On the left panel in Pro Quote you can find filters. The first filter shows available airlines and alliances on the dates and route you searched for. You can deselect one or more airlines and alliances. When you hover your mouse cursor over the airline or alliance, you can click the Only This button. The rest of the airlines and alliances will be filtered out of the search. The next one is the travel and layover duration filter. Pay attention to this message. Some flight options might be ignored by selected filters. It is so, because by default, the layover filter is set to not longer than 6 hours. You can move this slider to increase or decrease the layover time. Take a look here. It says that with a layover not more than 6 hours, the lowest deal is $1,522, but if you increase it to 10 hours, the cheapest fare will be $1,314. If you want to set a different default layover filter, less or more than 6 hours, select different maximum layover time and tick this box. Now, if I close Pro Quote and open it again, this filter will be set to 10 hours maximum. Above the layover filter, you can increase and decrease the total travel time per direction, including the layover time. The next filter is the layover airports. Here you can deselect one or more airports, or click the Only This button to select only one transit airport. Lower you can apply filters regarding the maximum amount of stops. The fare type filter allows you to choose or deselect one or more fare types. The takeoff and landing time filter allows you to specify customers' departure and arrival times. Use this filter if there is a specific time when your client needs to depart or land. For example, it might come in handy when you're searching for domestic flights, which are departing at multiple different times a day. Here you can select the time format, 12-hour or 24-hour format. Here you can select either takeoff or landing time. Move these sliders to indicate the preferable time range. The next filter is the cabin class. Usually, it will show you only one class of service that is indicated in the lead. But sometimes it might give you mixed cabin options like this. And the last filter is the bag allowance. You can filter out options without the luggage here or select the most preferable amount of bags. To add the option to the request, start typing the selling price in this box. That way you can select more than one option. After that, click the green Add Selected button in the right lower corner. After that, a hotel screen will appear. If you add a published or a private fare, and the customer does not need a hotel, click this green button Proceed without hotel. And the option will be added to the request. However, if you are adding a tour fare, adding a hotel will be mandatory. Either add the exact hotel details the customer wants to use.
अगर आपने वीडियोस को कम्प्लीटली देख लिया है और आप समझ गए हैं कि इस वीडियो और इस जो बेसिक मॉड्यूल है इसमें क्या क्या बताया गया है, तो चलिए अब क्वेश्चंस पे आते हैं। तो जो पहला क्वेश्चन है इसमें पूछा गया है कि मार्क द स्टेटमेंट ट्रू और फॉल्स बताने हैं। तो बहुत सिंपल है, तो मैंने इसमें बता रखा है जैसे ट्रैवल डेट्स कैन बी मॉडिफाइड डायरेक्टली थ्रू प्रो कोड, ट्रू है ये। सेकंड वाला भी ट्रू है। थर्ड जो क्वेश्चन है पैसेंजर अमाउंट कैन बी मॉडिफाइड डायरेक्टली थ्रू प्रो कोड, ये मैंने गलत कर रखा है, इसको अब ट्रू करना है, ठीक है। और अगले दोनों जो हैं वो ठीक है। आप फॉल्स कर देना और उसके जो लास्ट वाला है उसको भी फॉल्स करना। यार ट्रू जो है ये गलती से हो गया है मेरे से, तो आप इसको पूरा ठीक कर लेना एक तरह से, ठीक है। नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन जो है, व्हाट इज़ द रेटिंग इन द अपर लेफ्ट कॉर्नर ईच प्रो कोड बेस ऑन, है ना, ठीक है। तो इसमें जो आंसर होने वाला है, इसमें आपका जो आंसर होगा, इसको आप जूम करके भी देख लेना कि जो ये 8 है ना, इसका क्या मीनिंग है, मतलब क्या मीनिंग रहने वाला है। तो ये क्या क्या चीज़ें बताता है। ये बेसिकली प्राइस, डेट फ्लेक्सिबिलिटी और लेओवर के बारे में बताता है, ठीक है। तो आप जो ट्रांसक्रिप्ट है उसको फॉलो कर सकते हैं। थर्ड क्वेश्चन पे आते हैं, हाउ मैनी टैब्स मैक्सिमम इट इज़ पॉसिबल टू ओपन इन प्रो कोड, कितने टैब वो कर सकते हैं। तो भाई 5 टैब हैं जो एट ए टाइम आप ओपन कर सकते हैं, ठीक है। और ये जो लास्ट क्वेश्चन है इसमें मैच करना है कि कौन कौन सा सिंबल क्या रिप्रेजेंट करता है। तो जो फर्स्ट सिंबल है वो ओवरनाइट स्टे को इंडिकेट करता है, ठीक है। तो जैसे मैंने मैच किया उनको, उस हिसाब से आप इनको मैच कर लेना और ये जो आपका फिर मॉड्यूल है वो कंप्लीट हो जाएगा। तो वेल फ्रेंड्स, आई होप यू लाइक द वीडियो और सब्सक्राइब कर लेना यार। और कल मैं इसे नेक्स्ट जो मॉड्यूल है उसको अपलोड करूँगा। तो टिल देन हैव अ ग्रेट डे एंड लव यू ऑल। पैसेंजर अमाउंट कैन बी मॉडिफाइड डायरेक्टली थ्रू प्रो कोड, ये मैंने गलत कर रखा है, इसको आप ट्रू करना है, ठीक है। और अगले दोनों जो हैं वो ठीक है, आप फॉल्स कर देना और उसके जो लास्ट वाला है उसको भी फॉल्स करना। यार ट्रू जो है ये गलती से हो गया है मेरे से, तो आप इसको पूरा ठीक कर लेना एक तरह से, ठीक है। नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन जो है, व्हाट इज़ द रेटिंग इन द अपर लेफ्ट कॉर्नर ईच प्रो कोड बेस ऑन, है ना, ठीक है। तो इसमें जो आंसर होने वाला है, इसमें आपका जो आंसर होगा, इसको आप जूम करके भी देख लेना कि जो ये 8 है ना, इसका क्या मीनिंग है, मतलब क्या मीनिंग रहने वाला है। तो ये क्या-क्या चीज़ें बताता है, ठीक है? अगर आपको कभी नहीं पता लगे ना यार, तो इसकी जो ट्रांसक्रिप्ट आती है ऊपर वीडियो की, उसको डाउनलोड करके रख लो और फिर उसमें से आपको सारे आंसर्स मिल जाते हैं। ऑलराइट? तो ये जो सेकंड क्वेश्चन है हमारा, इसमें बताया हुआ है कि ये बेसिकली प्राइस, डेट फ्लेक्सिबिलिटी और लेओवर के बारे में बताता है, ठीक है? तो आप जो ट्रांसक्रिप्ट है उसको फॉलो कर सकते हैं। थर्ड क्वेश्चन पे आते हैं, हाउ मैनी टैब्स मैक्सिमम इट इज़ पॉसिबल टू ओपन इन प्रो कोड? कितने टैब वो कर सकते हैं? तो भाई 5 टैब हैं जो एट अ टाइम आप ओपन कर सकते हैं, ठीक है? और ये जो लास्ट क्वेश्चन है इसमें मैच करना है कि कौन कौन सा सिंबल क्या रिप्रेजेंट करता है। तो जो फर्स्ट सिंबल है वो ओवरनाइट स्टे को इंडिकेट करता है, ठीक है? तो जैसे मैंने मैच किए हैं उनको, उस हिसाब से आप इनको मैच कर लेना और ये जो आपका फिर मॉड्यूल है वो कंप्लीट हो जाएगा। तो वेल फ्रेंड्स, आई होप यू लाइक द वीडियो और सब्सक्राइब कर लेना यार। और कल मैं इसे नेक्स्ट जो मॉड्यूल है उसको अपलोड करूँगा। तो टिल देन हैव अ ग्रेट डे एंड लव यू ऑल।